there we go. It looks like it's recording.
So,
But yeah,
roll tape.
um, yeah,
Roll
yeah.
this.
No, thanks for coming, like recording one though. Even though we're both kind of,
Yeah,
we're both kind of
we're
busy.
we're both very busy this week. I'm dead. I'm still working like this weekend. Like I just had a bunch of calls today with my team partner, and I was like, "Am I actually doing this on the weekend?" So it's like, yeah, life has been a bit complicated this week. I moved, I worked, yeah. So this week we started with I think it was like Harley Quinn. Was that it?
Yeah, we'll start with
Yeah,
here. Let's just that'll be our template for this week. We'll just go down whatever. What was the
yeah.
first we
I have
posted?
posts. I have posts. I'm looking at our Instagram page. I'm like, yeah, man. Okay. So are we? Should we do a countdown or something?
Sure.
Or yeah. Okay.
I'll do it.
Use your hands. Talk to the hand.
Right, 5, 4.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to What We Binge. This is Raf with
And yeah,
and
Michael,
yeah, yeah.
aka
I
Mike,
kind of
Raph and Mike.
switched. I switched it up there. I was testing you.
Yay!
If you're
I,
gonna say
I,
and,
ex-
you know, yeah.
very,
So
very nice.
let's go into what we're talking about. So today, we've posted, but we recommended a bunch of TV shows to watch this week.
Mhm.
So like Harley Quinn, the TV show, like what's the full name of the TV show? It's just Harley Quinn, right?
Yeah, it's just Harley Quinn. It's not like the movie how it's like the fabulous birds of prey and all that. It's literally Harley Quinn.
Emancipation of Harley
Yeah.
Quinn, Birds of Prey,
Holly.
and there was no egg sandwich in this. Am I correct?
Not from the episode I saw. There was an egg involved. There's a villain
like-
named the Queen of Fables that comes up and cooks an egg of some sort. So yeah.
Yeah, because like that was a big topic. That was like a 10-minute, sequence in the Harley Quinn movie where she's just like salivating over an egg sandwich, and it's like
Yeah.
bacon and American cheese, and I'm like, that does not sound like an American accent, Like, it was just, yeah. And actually, what's interesting is that I think a lot of people can just like they can get Harley Quinn the movie on VOD and compare with, because like I saw a few clips of Harley Quinn on YouTube, and it's like I feel like it's what Harley Quinn the movie is minus the R rating, It's- and I think the sense of humor is actually the comedy's better in the TV show than the movie, to be honest with you. Like, did you watch the movie?
I didn't see the movie yet. I watched the intro, the animated intro, because it's on YouTube now.
Yeah.
I'm watching it in like pieces, I guess.
I mean, like, I don't want to shit on the movie because I liked the movie when I saw it, and a lot of people didn't go see it. So I think that's why it's on VOD like a month and a half after it came out in theaters, because it came out maybe a month before COVID happened. So,
Yeah.
or for the lockdown. So it was, stay safe, guys.
Yeah.
We're both locked in. We have long hair. Beards. I'm wearing a hat because my hair is like all over the place, and as you are, yeah.
Yeah, we
So,
have one guy here, Raph, who knows how to cut his own hair.
yeah,
I didn't try.
get
I had thoughts,
I get
but
compliments. Like if I could cut hair through Skype, like I would do it. Like I would do it for you.
thank you.
I would cut your hair through
Maybe
Skype.
one day they'll put lasers on the top of laptops. You just put your
Yeah.
head there. Ah!
And I was like, it smells crispy.
It's kind of like big
Mm,
laser
smells-
out strip on the top of my head. Anyway,
It's
back
like-
to Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn was
like the
it-
Batman
it-
is in there. The Batman.
yeah,
He's in Harley Quinn.
Batman. Yeah, no, he's a big part. So it's basically Batman the Animated Series if it was on Adult Swim. And the thing is, like, the thing is like the tone of the show feels like what Suicide Squad was supposed to be, because it's basically like there's a group of villains that Harley Quinn hangs with that go out and do debauchery or save stuff. It's like it feels like if they made Suicide Squad the animated series and put it on Adult Swim, it would be this Harley Quinn show.
Yeah.
And I almost feel, what was that?
Yeah, sorry. No.
Oh, no, but that's how good. But it's like I feel like ever since Suicide Squad came out, there were attempts to make almost like a better version of what they were going for, just because it was such a mess. So there's Harley Quinn, and then there's the Birds of Prey movie. I'm seeing a lot more of that neon all over the place, like anarchic, like aesthetic that they had in the movie. I'm starting to see it in more places, not even just DC. So
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that'll be Suicide Squad, the movie's legacy, is that it inspired a bunch of stuff that was better than it. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's like after Suicide Squad came out, like with the worst Joker I mean, my least favorite Joker in history. Jared Leto Joker. Yeah, I don't like him. And it's like the movie was so bad that I think the aesthetics were, nothing is like the aesthetics were good. It was just like the aesthetics were there. They had like a good visual identity, but the story was, I mean, the editing was a bit weird. Like, like the beginning of the sequence, where they, that sort of like, it's like, hey, this is Deadshot. He can shoot things. And, like record shooting, 264 precision kills. It's like watching Halo after you finish like a multiplayer or something. And same thing for the other villains. Like that part was edited by the guys who edited the trailer. And then the rest of the movie was done by like the studio, I guess, because like I can't remember who the director was, but I think he was really at odds with the studio. And I think his idea of what it was is different than what it ended up being. And the Joker was supposed to appear way more than he did. So like, I mean, good enough for me. I mean, it's just like the few times that Jared Leto appears in that movie are the parts of the movie that I hate. And so it's sort of, like I like the parts that are good are when Ben Affleck, like Batfleck, shows up and punches bad guys and punches like Harley Quinn underwater. Like that's amazing. And and so like moving on, like after I destroyed Suicide Squad, after it was already probably destroyed by like, trolls on the internet. Like, talking about comedy, there's this like Dave on FX.
Oh yeah.
Comedy series.
Yeah, so shortly after watching a Harley Quinn show, I was flipping around, caught Dave on TV. It just so happened I also saw an article on, I think it was the Hollywood Reporter, saying that they were renewed for season 2, and it was one of the most highest rated, actually the highest rated show that FX networks ever had. I thought it was just FXX, but FX in general, this is probably one of their top rated shows. So, I mean, good job.
Yeah, good job for those guys. It's like, because like he like the main character's he's trying to be a rapper or something, or a hip hop artist, I think, or like a musician, right? Can't remember.
Yeah. It's
like
basically
posters everywhere, like of this guy like poking out of his like boxers. And which is amazing. But yeah, I know, like, did you watch an episode? Could you tell people about?
I mean, like I saw a few episodes. It's funny. That's the thing. I want to see the rest just to see, but it's I've heard it described as Atlanta meets Curb Your Enthusiasm. In my eyes, it's like the premium networks version of like Malibu's Most Wanted. And if you don't know what that movie is, people, that's a movie that came out in the 2000s with Jamie Kennedy and Cal Penn, where was from Malibu that wanted to be like a hardcore rapper. And fun fact about that movie, the whole joke is that he'll never get signed as a rapper because he's like corny. But Jamie Kennedy actually used that character on a prank show called the Jamie Kennedy Experience, and he actually almost got signed because he was told he has so much character. And the only reason they never made an album with him is because they thought his rich dad was going to pay for everything. But anyway, back to Dave. No, Dave is a funny show. It's authentic. It's like what you would think of when you're thinking of a Lil Dicky's persona. And FX has had like attempts before with kind of having like a white rapper trying to make it show, and this one I feel is it's funny. It's not super broad. It's just a good funny show. Yeah. And when they have like cameos from rappers, it's like you realize how much connections this guy has. Yeah. And I guess I have not a connection, but like I'm almost happy for Lil Dicky just because he was a copywriter at some point, and that's how he got his career start. And we're both in advertising, me and Raph. So
yeah, that's why that's why we're so tired today. Like we're in advertising. We're tired all the time. It's like yay, yay. No, it's yeah. Thing is, like, I think a lot of new TV shows. I mean, Dave came out like a couple of months ago, I think, or started airing a couple of months ago. But there are like a lot of new TV shows that kind of popped up this week. One that I want to talk about, actually, I think it's on its second episode, like for, Rick and Morty fans. It's like a spin-off called Solar Opposites. And for any Rick and Morty fans out there, it of course it has to do with aliens. And it's like a couple of aliens are, they kind of like, they're supposed to it's kind of like a Superman situation. It's like their planet exploded and they're trying to find a new homeworld, and but they land on Earth and they think Earth sucks. And it's just like one loves Earth and the other one hates it, and they both have kids. I don't know if it's their kids, but and then they have like a pet that's called a pupa that looks like a lemon shaped alien that doesn't speak. But it's weird, it's funny. I don't think it's as good as Rick and Morty, but I'm sure like this TV show is gonna build its own like little niche. And I think I'm just hoping that we're gonna get a Rick and Morty cameo in this TV show. I think I would watch the shit for that episode. But it's like so it's on Hulu. I think it's I can't remember if it's on it might be on FX, but it's on Hulu anyway. And we're talking about a lot of like animated TV shows this week. Like we have Harley Quinn, Solar Opposites, and the big one.
Oh no. Okay, before we go into that, the big one, I just want to say that I saw the pilot of Solar Opposites, yay, free trial. I love you, Hulu, for having that every so often.
I know, what you think about it?
Upon the first episode, I felt like this was gonna be the American Dad to like if you were to say Rick and Morty was Family Guy, then this would be kind of like the American Dad, kind of like secondary, but still pretty popular with a niche show. The thing is though is that with American Dad, what is happening? What is going? Wait, are we good? Are we good? Okay, yeah, we had some staticky stuff from last week we had to cut out, so every so often have to.
I was so sad when we cut that out. I was like, shit, like that was so funny.
if they're static right now, then
like we'll cut that out. But like, cut the weird noises out, but keep the part where we talk about cutting out weird noises. That way people don't know that what we're talking about. Sorry for those weird noises. Like we edited those out, and but you won't know about them unless we talk about it. So,
Yeah, we should just call this podcast from now on. Raph and Mike try to make a podcast. And just, like Jason and Bob.
This is what that is. Like this is exactly what it is. Like Raph and Mike trying to make a podcast. This is exactly what we're doing. It's like we're not. I don't think we're doing it very well, but
I don't know. What we binge, tipsy spoiler. But all right. Anyway, let me get back to the point about solar opposites. We're gonna get this point out of the way.
Solar opposites. Okay, solar opposites is to Rick and Morty what American Dad is to Family Guy, essentially, right?
Yeah, but the tricky part is that over time, American Dad became kind of like the more character-based version of Family Guy was. It wasn't like, it was still pretty broad humor, but it was a little bit more like story-based and more based on character, whereas Family Guy was just like, how Seth MacFarlane described it as just Looney Tunes. Do whatever you want during the episode, and then the next episode has nothing to do with the last episode, whereas American Dad, things kind of continued, and it was focused more on character. But the only thing is that Rick and Morty is pretty character-based. Like, everything comes back to it, and every so often something leads to the next episode, or they bring up something from a few seasons ago or something. So I'm just interested to see how Solar Opposites is going to set themselves apart from Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Like, are they going to be more character-based, or are they going to be more like episodic, or, we'll see.
Yeah, well, I think, it's probably going to start out like pretty episodic. I think, they do have this like, so these aliens, like their spaceship crash landed on Earth, and that's why they're stuck on Earth. So I think like their main, like one of the main characters, his goal is to like just fix the ship and just like get the hell out of like away from Earth, and the other one really likes Earth. So I think like there's going to be this. The Rick and Morty has a big nihilistic like bend to it, and I feel like. Solar Opposites, I think the family unit is actually going to be a family, and they're probably going to do some messed up stuff, but they're still going to be together. Whereas Rick and Morty, it's like you get like crazy shit happening all the time, like they all hate each other for different reasons. And like the family, like Rick hates the world, Morty he loves his family, but like they piss him off, and like he pisses off his family because like he's a serial masturbator or something, it's sort of like there's always like antagonism all the time, like between like the different family members of the Sanchez family, although that's not their name, like they're named after the dad's name. What's his name?
Jerry.
Yeah,
Jerry.
Jerry Smith. Is that
Jerry?
Is that his name? Jerry. It's like, what's your name, Jerry? What's your name? It's like I don't know what my name is, Rick.
Wait, oh yeah, Rick is the mom's dad. Oh yeah.
Morty. Wait, Morty.
Morty Sanchez or
Morty Smith. Okay, so it's like the Smith family, the most like generic, most generic American name in the world. Yeah. Smith.
Well, they really thought this out, Rick and Morty.
Yes, Mortimer Smith.
Morty.
I didn't know his full name is Mortimer. Mortimer Smith. Very proper. Okay.
Yeah.
So, thing is, like, okay, I just want to take 2 seconds to talk about Nadiya's Time to Eat. Like, I sort of like stumbled on this TV cooking show, So it's like Nadiya was the winner of, I think, Top Chef in the UK. I don't know if it was what Top Chef or something on the BBC or something. And now she has her own Netflix TV show, and she just like makes really cool food. And I think she's yeah, I'm just gonna do some research. Nadia Hussein, I think that's her full name. And you know, she does a lot of food that's like you know, Middle Eastern kind of. I don't want to say the wrong thing because I know she's from Bangladesh, so it's like, you know, Bangladeshi, like, you know, I don't want to profile, but a lot of people who liked this post are either Indian or Bangladeshi or Pakistani. So I'm like, so I think like it plays into, you know, it's sort of like Bangladeshi food, but like made easy for, you know, plebs like me. And it's sort of like, you know, she has a whole show that is just like, hey, simple basics that works like every day. And I'm like, yay, I'm gonna do that. And now that I live alone, all by myself, I'm just gonna cook them for myself during this lockdown. And I'm gonna take pictures of them, and I'm gonna Skype this food with my girlfriend and be like, hey, you know, you're not eating this, and I am. So, yeah.
So get on
To
it.
be, because like she always cooks this amazing stuff. She's like, oh, look at what I ate today, and I'm like, so I'm just gonna take a picture and be like, hey, Nadiya taught me to cook this, and then she's like, who's Nadiya? So this is my existential like speech for the week, you know, because like I'm so tired. So like after this Nadiya's time thing, let's move to Avatar, which was the big animated release this week. Like Avatar, all 3 seasons came out on Netflix, so we can all binge Avatar instead of just watching clips on YouTube.
Yay!
Which is what I do. I've been doing that for the last 4 weeks, so I think I watched all of Avatar on YouTube just because like all the clips follow each other. So I'm just like. And I'm like, oh, Avatar is in Ba Sing Se. And oh, yes, amazing.
Like, before I talk about Avatar, quick shout out to the other posts we had. Queen Sono and Upload. Queen Sono, you have a huge niche I had no idea about. And Upload, I thought more people were going to love this, but
I'm like, shit, Queen Sono.
Okay.
Dude, what's Queen Sono about? I have no idea what it's about.
Wait, really?
No.
Oh, okay. You're not seeing it as like a. Okay,
no,
so
I'm not seeing the ads. I'm not being targeted for Queen Sono. I'm not. I'm like.
I don't know. There was one day when they were just showing like all the top 10 shows, and I think that was the only not top 10 show of the day on the homepage. But it like it just kept like coming up, and dude, I needed to watch an action show. Like I haven't seen a good action show in a long time. And luckily, this one is like 6 episodes, and it's like it goes by. Like basically, I put in the comments that it's a good workout from home kind of thing. Like if you could put a TV on and do push-ups or something at the same time, then it's pretty good. It's pretty easy to follow. And then the other post, like the other post before we put up Avatar was Upload. I got a lot of ads for that, so I thought like a lot of people would be watching it, but. Yeah, I don't think it's building up as much ratings. I don't know. Maybe that niche is like on another Instagram page or something. But yeah, I mean, good job to all these shows. Yeah. So back to Avatar.
It's like not that many people liked Avatar. Like I think it's yeah, not many people. Like I think someone called Gabby liked it. And
I think
Gabby,
that audience just spread out through Instagram. Like I think whoever the Avatar niche is, they're all over the place. Like on Instagram.
Avatar, I think there's a lot to like, and a lot of people like it for different reasons. And I mean, I like it for the animation and the storytelling. Like I think more for the storytelling, but I think I just watch Avatar just to watch Zuko. I think that's why I watch Avatar. Like it's not for or Katara or Sokka. It's just like or Toph. Toph, yeah. I think like my 2 favorite characters are not the Avatar. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, you know, I sort of like, like the whole Zuko and with his uncle, like Iroh, like General Iroh. It's just like their kind of like surrogate father-son relationship is just like so heartwarming and heartbreaking at times because like there are parts where they separate or some, at some point like Zuko wants to go out on his own. Spoiler alert. But I mean, this show is like 10 years old, so
Yeah.
whatever. But it's like it's I think the character that has the most interesting turnaround is Zuko, probably, because he goes from being a bad guy to a good guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, Avatar is just a good guy all the time. And he's like, I'm the Avatar.
Yeah.
I got elements. Oh, I am, burdened with unbridled purpose. You know, he doesn't talk like that, by the way, guys. But he's like a 10-year-old or 11.
Oh no, what do I do? What do I do? Who am I?
It's like, oh, I'll just fly away on my kite, I'm like, oh, I'll just get my problem, which is why he gets in trouble in the first place,
Yeah, I don't think he's a Rick and Morty character. Oh, what do I do, man? I just fly and then Papa, he ran away. I don't know where he go.
Yeah, like I'm getting out of Dodge.
Say yip. Maybe I gotta say it 3 times. I don't know.
And then it's like he escapes because he doesn't want to be the Avatar, and then he gets lost in a storm, inadvertently gets himself like cryogenically frozen through his own glow Avatar state powers. And and then wakes up 100 years later, and his whole people, they're all dead, and he's like, it's not my fault. Okay, this sounds like I hate the show, but I actually love the show.
Oh no.
It's making fun of Aang.
Dude, I think for the most part people love the show. Actually, I think there's a growing interest of people that like the franchise in general because they expanded it over time. Yeah. There's the Legend of Korra, and then there's like books that came out just last year that's about like an Earthbender.
Yeah. Oh, which one? Like it's the Avatar Kyoshi, I think. She's like the Earthbender, right? The one with fans, and she's like she says the Earth with a fan. She goes ham on some general, and it's just like. The Earthbender, the Conqueror, I'm gonna make my own island, screw you.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. And, the guy, instead of walking backwards, because he can see the earth parting, like a dumbass, he just stays there and he falls into the pit. So they're like, it's not her fault that he died. He's just it's like it's like in the Penguins movie at the beginning. sorry to make a whole Penguins detour, but at the beginning, when you see the penguins, they're like baby penguins, and there's a documentary crew that's filming the penguins, voiced by Werner Herzog. And it's like, as you see, the penguins can look over the cliff, and as they know, if they fall, they will surely die. And then the guy says, Gunther, shove them,
Wait, is this the Penguins of Madagascar?
The penguins off the cliff or something. That's what they become. Dude, did you watch Penguins the movie years ago? It came out
the Madagascar penguins?
Okay. And then they had a penguin spin-off, and it was just a movie about the penguins. And they actually had Herzog, otherwise known as the client from The Mandalorian.
It's a white profession. It was
it's it is amazing the craftsmanship of the metal with when Beskar, the beauty of Beskar when given to its ancestral users or something. I can't remember what he says, but it's something like that. But like Werner Herzog is like, it's probably like the funniest. It's probably like the most trippy thing to listen to. Like if you're, I don't know, for people out there who might be partaking into illegal drugs, which you shouldn't be doing. I mean, they're illegal in certain states, but not in every state. You know, it's like listening to Werner Herzog is like being on an acid trip because he talks like so weird. You know, the like you have to Google like Werner Herzog and the jungle, and then you say like I do not fear the jungle. I hate it. You know, it is chaos. It is not beauty. And
Wait, did he have a master class? I'm just starting to remember this. Like
he's on Masterclass. He's on Masterclass.
Okay.
And
I'm trying to remember the non-Star Wars thing I
he
saw
was
him
the
in.
first Masterclass actually. He taught the first Masterclass on that platform. I remember because like I think I bought the course like when it came out because I was really into I wanted to be a filmmaker and I was like, dude, I have to watch Werner Herzog. And he's like, no, I do not use storyboards. I shoot storyboards are for what did he say? He says like storyboards are for like, you know, people who aren't good at their job, like essentially, like that's what he says. You know, it's like for amateurs, you know. Like, you know, I know what I want to shoot. I don't need to draw it down, you know.
Oh, he was independent his whole life, right?
Yeah.
That's why.
Like, yeah, it was like he used to because like he's from like Munich or like that area of Germany, and he would work for like a year and then save all his money just to make a feature like movie, like in the 70s. Like that's what he used to do, and like he made a bunch of movies. Like he's done a bunch of like different documentaries and like fictional, you know, fiction. And I think the big one is like the vampire one, like Nosferatu. Nosferatu the vampire. And, like, you know, but like
that's what I think of every time I hear that.
No, it's like I think his most famous thing is like Grizzly Man. I think that's like one of his most famous documentaries. It's about like a guy who it was like a grizzly expert who got killed by a grizzly and his wife as well. And his whole like documentary is about these guys and the grizzly bear. And it's pretty powerful stuff. Like he's got a bunch of he's also got a Netflix deal. Like he has a bunch of documentaries on Netflix. Like
oh man.
Lo and behold, Into the Inferno. Actually, Into the Inferno is pretty cool. Like he probably filmed in Hawaii because it's all about volcanoes. Like he filmed in Indonesia, Hawaii.
Nice.
And it's like, yes, the embers of the inner core of the world. And this is how we go back to Avatar, because in Legend of Korra, one of the characters lava bends. Like he can bend lava. So so that's how I'm trying to get back.
Somehow brought it back. Wait, before we go back to Avatar, you put the thought in my head because you said Netflix and documentaries. I gotta announce this before I forget. Tiger King has more episodes coming up, but it is not about Joe Exotic. It's gonna be about Siegfried and Roy because they had tigers. They announced it right after Roy passed away, so I'm kind of like that. That was a weird time to announce it, but that's gonna be the next part of.
Just got mauled by a tiger, and we're gonna release a movie about his life. Yay!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so like, I guess this is.
I'm just wondering if they bought their tigers from Joe Exotic.
Probably. Like they probably bought it from like I don't know for sure, but that one guy Doc, whatever his name was, that gave a lot of tigers to movies. I wouldn't be surprised if they got it from him because apparently he gave away a lot of tigers. It was like Doc Mantle, that was his name.
Like Joe Exotic's like, I sold some tigers to Siegfried and the other dude, and like
you.
Like they wanted a white tiger.
Damn you.
Damn you. Dude, like
get it off, damn it. that was my best Joe Exotic. Thank you, everybody.
"Eh, get out of here, shoot you," and then like even like he's always shooting a gun. Like he's happy is like
Yeah.
okay. Every state is like happy, shoot gun. Angry,
Yeah.
shoot gun. Afraid, shoot gun.
You
Like,
bitch.
bitch, I'm doing this for the tigers. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like you're doing it for yourself, man, and for your own like orgy, weird orgy, whatever thing he's organizing there with his like tiger helpers. You know,
Well, one of them is from Hawaii. Yay, little Hawaii plug right there. Saf, the one who now has one arm. She is
yeah.
a white person.
It's like, and then I'm like, well, I didn't want it to go bad, so I just, hey, let's chop the arm off.
I should have known she was from Hawaii because she was so like nonchalant about it.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it got bit, like, probably too complicated to put it back together. So hey, let's just chop it off. It's fine.
Yep. Wait, hold on. Wait. I'm trying to. Oh wait, Saf identifies as a male. Oh, okay, because I was trying to
So
figure
like,
that out. I forgot if
he
Saf.
Sam
Yeah.
was like, hey, like my arm, hey, we could fix it, but it's too expensive or something. So hey, let's just chop it off, guys. Bring the machetes. Bring the machetes and a warm iron, and we'll just cauterize it. Like, it's like bring me a lightsaber. Actually, lightsabers are probably the best thing to be like to cut a limb, because it'll just cauterize it immediately. Except if you're talking about the prequels, but no, not the prequels. I mean, like the original movies. Sorry, like A New Hope. Like it's the only movie where someone gets their arm chopped off and just see blood everywhere. Whereas in the modern movies, like it's chopped and then it's like because of the heat, like it's been cauterized. So you're like, hey, you're not bleeding anymore. So it's like it's the best like surgical tool like ever for amputations.
I
Yeah.
wonder when they figured that out. I think in the 70s, George Lucas was just like, blood, just do it.
Blood. I'm having a Zootopia flashback right now. It's like blood.
Zootopia. Oh yeah, all the ketchup.
So the rabbit who gets like she's like blood and scene. She should have been an actress. She shouldn't have been a police officer. She was good at acting. Acting. Yeah.
Anyway, Avatar: The Last Airbender, great franchise.
Avatar: The Last
I hope they
Airbender.
do more with it.
Dude, I haven't gotten to that episode yet, but talking about acting like that, one of my favorite episodes is when they see a play that like just recaps everything that happened on during season 1 and 2. It's like the dramatized version where Toph is like a big buff dude. It's like, what's your name? Oh! He just like screams like, that's my name. And yeah, I honestly Avatar animation is, you can see the animation getting better, to be honest, like from one season to the other. That's just me. I don't know. I feel like it gets better. It's kind of like a Clone Wars thing going on there. But, like season 7 of Clone Wars was just like amazing. Like the production value was like amazing compared to season 1. I think we talked about this last week, but it's like, I think that's the case with most like animated shows. Is like the first season they're just testing it out. So they're not spending, like the budget is low. They're like, okay, let's do a basic thing and whatever. But I think Dave Filoni worked on Avatar, like before he worked for George Lucas.
Yeah.
He was an animator.
Because Dave Filoni, I would say with like the Clone Wars, I could see him working on both because like now that I'm watching Clone Wars, I'm seeing that he's the type of guy that'll dig into the politics or try to invent politics to flesh out a story more. And just like with Star Wars, some of the movies and some of the stuff, I don't know about the books, but like it's like they don't always go deep into things. Maybe the prequels they went deep into it, but too much. But they don't really go super deep into like the mythology and why this or that. And I didn't notice until going back to Clone Wars that like they basically filled in all the blanks of what happened in Star Wars with like what stuff that happens in real life or what people would do in real life if they wanted to like make an empire. Like they dig into like the economics and I
Yeah.
guess trying to take over the central bank and what happened psychologically. And Avatar for the Last Airbender for a kid show, it was pretty like philosophical and like it's pretty philosophical and pretty like heavy story based for a kid show. So I mean, I could see him working on both.
And I think like Avatar has aged that so well. Like it hasn't like even today like it still feels fresh for some reason. It's just like they touch adult. They talk about what people would talk would label as grown up topics
Hmm.
but like for kids. So it's like they're always like teaching some lesson or something. I mean, like season one, they have a lot of pit stops on their way from the I think it's like from the northern water tribe to the southern water tribe, or like the other way around. I can't remember exactly. So like
Hmm.
they go over the Fire Nation, parts of the Earth Kingdom, and you have like extra stories peppered in there that kind of add context and give life to the this Avatar
Yeah.
universe. And it's really and it's something that you see happen in Clone Wars as well. It's
Yeah.
like the movies, you just see the heroes, right? So it's like,
Hmm.
hey, swashbuckling, hey, let's go into the fray, guys. And but then like this is true for Clone Wars as well as Rebels and even like Star Wars Resistance, which
Yeah.
I don't think had as much traction as Clone Wars. And it's they talk
Yeah.
about slavery during the Empire
Mm.
days, like and then like the First Order and Resistance, like they're also kind of like putting creating slave labor and stuff like that. So it's sort of like very grown up
Yeah.
uh, topics. And I think you could say
Yeah.
similar, like Avatar has a whole arc about going to a prison. Like that's
Oh.
pretty cool, right? Like
Yeah.
for and it's like it's not like a prison was like, oh, like the sheriff and whatever. It's like a, supermax prison in the crater of a dead volcano. And
Yeah.
like it's like serious shit. And it's and I think like and they really take time to flesh out the characters and the characters grow and you see them grow and you grow with them. So it's sort of, it's why Dave Filoni should be the head of Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
I mean, like
There's this.
he wasn't the runner for Avatar. Let's be
Yeah.
clear. He wasn't the showrunner on Avatar, but it's like I think they're doing a live action version of Avatar, like Netflix is preparing
Hmm.
a live
Yeah.
action version. I don't know if it's like a 3D, like hyper,
Yeah.
uh, like Ghost in the Shell remake or something. But it's
Yeah.
yeah. Did you see the Ghost in the Shell animation thing that came out last week?
I saw a thumbnail
There's like
for
a
it.
naked guy
Eh,
doing cartwheels.
what was that?
There's a naked guy. I think he's a robot who's
Oh,
naked,
hey.
who does cartwheels backwards during like what feels like a whole minute. And he's just like escaping from the cops, and he's just like does cartwheels while escaping. So that was like a big thing online. You have to look at
So,
Ghost
so
of the
what do I
Shell.
type in? Naked man flipping.
Ghost of the
Goes to
Shell
the
at
show.
SAC 2045, and then
Oh,
like
okay.
naked guy.
Is it just me, or is it like Ghost in the Shell seems to have a big niche within people in Hollywood, but it's like they're just having trouble like building a huge audience outside for it. Cause like for some reason everybody like they really it seems like Hollywood's really trying to make Ghost in the Shell and like Akira work, or trying to do like another version of it, or trying to spin it off. But every so often it feels like there's like these franchises that Hollywood really tries to make work because it's not like a good or bad franchise, but it's like they really try to make work because there's a big niche of people that like it within Hollywood.
Yeah.
One thing I always thought about Avatar: The Last Airbender is like I wonder if being owned by Nickelodeon helps or hurts it. Because if it wasn't owned by Nickelodeon or like a family friendly company in general or something, I wonder if it could have expanded upon its own mythology and had different types of media like the way The Witcher does, how there's books and there's games and there's a trading card game and now there's a Netflix show and they all have different art styles and this and that. So it's like I wonder if Avatar always seemed like something that could have done that, but I wonder if it helps or hurts to be under Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I think with Legend of Korra,
Mm-hmm.
for example, which I enjoyed a lot. The ending is a bit what was I think confusing for a lot of people because they didn't foreshadow that relationship happening. So
Right.
like I don't know if you're talking if you know what I'm talking about, but it's at the end of Legend of Korra. Korra turns out to be either lesbian or bisexual, and
Yeah.
she ends up with um, I think her name was Asami, and she
Mm-hmm.
was the ex of her ex.
Yeah.
So it's like they were both these two young women were competing for this guy's attention for like 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
You know, he was with one girl and then he was with the other and then he wasn't with anyone and then the girls like fell in love with each other, but like they
Yeah.
didn't shadow that at all. So I think like in terms of storytelling, that's the one thing that I really feel like criticizing about like the showrunners of Avatar, like in general, because like
Yeah.
Avatar: The Last Airbender was pretty airtight. Like they had the whole 3 seasons planned.
Mm-hmm.
They have some weird episodes once in a while, but in the whole scheme of things, it kind of makes sense. And then in Legend of Korra, it seems like very repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
It's like bad guy. Who's the bad guy this season? He wants to change society. Okay, changing society is bad. And then like she battles the guy or girl or whatever, and
Yeah.
and then actually the guy was right all along, you know, but
Yeah.
he's in jail.
Yeah.
And then it's sort of like that happens like 2, 3 times, and then by season 4, I can't remember what who the villain was for that episode. But I think the whole relationship thing they could have, yeah, because they didn't build up to that. It sort of happened,
Mm-hmm.
and I think yeah, that's the one like story aspect that I think Avatar kind of missed out. Missed something on like in terms of how they did it. And it seems like a last minute thing. It was like, hey, let's have something more inclusive. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, we're trying to make this inclusive. How can we make it more inclusive? Oh yeah, awesome. And then like, hey,
Yeah.
but like build it up, guys. Build it up, guys.
Yeah.
Like at
It seems like
least
the next generation.
season, talking about it, like building up to that. It's just like last 10 minutes, here it is. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
ranting
I
today.
think like with Gen Z, I think with Gen Z, there's a lot of cartoons that they're growing up with that are more like naturally inclusive and naturally have like a good authentic storyline to tie everything together, not just the inclusivity, but like just to tie in whatever world the cartoon takes in. Like I keep seeing stuff about Steven Universe or and I guess Adventure Time. They're coming back on HBO Max. So it's like the next generation is they're gonna there's gonna have their cartoons that they're
Yeah.
gonna have all this lore about and this and that and it's like yeah with our generation I think we're trying to it's like we sometimes I wonder if it's like old Star Wars fans is when it's what happens when you get to a certain age when you look at the franchises you grew up with and really try to figure out for yourself what makes it authentic or inauthentic when there's an entire new franchise coming up where they don't have those restrictions, probably because they don't have nostalgia yet. There's nobody that
Yeah.
has this like real nostalgia for those projects yet. And nostalgia can be like a good and a bad thing. I think for Avatar: The Last Airbender, when the live action show comes out, it's gonna work in its favor because the people that grew up with it's built to have a mythology built up on it. But there's a bunch of cartoons right now that are just there are no rules for it, and we're gonna see what things the next generation of kids
Yeah. Well, I think like it's like
like
a pendulum, right?
or right.
Yeah. Sorry, you cut off.
Oh
It
no,
was
I was
cutting out.
done.
Yeah. No, it's. I think like the pendulum swings, right? So you're gonna have like
Yeah,
a series of cartoons that are well crafted, that have a story, or it's like that are iconic because of the story, but not necessarily because of the WTFness of
yeah,
the cartoon. Like in the 90s, there were some cartoons that were like really like what the hey, you know,
yeah.
and
Like
thousands.
Ren and Stimpy. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking about.
yeah.
Just
Because
like
like when I
acid
was,
trip,
oh, yeah.
5-year-olds.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
because like I didn't really start watching Nickelodeon until after Ren and Stimpy was a thing. Like I was, I think, 5 when SpongeBob came out.
yeah,
So I had no real footing in what Nickelodeon was before that. Like I may have had an idea, but I didn't really know. And then when I grew up and actually saw episodes of Ren and Stimpy, I was like, if I grew up with this, what the like
no,
I don't know, would I've gone to college? Would I've just been like like a cracked out
no,
dumbass? I don't know.
no. I think like there was like a series of really messed up cartoons that like I don't think they would like allow kids to see today. I mean, like
Yeah,
Courage, the Cowardly Dog, like that was a cartoon that I really loved as a kid, but it was like nightmare worthy, like
yeah,
television for kids. And and I think like if you had something like that, like today, they like you'd have a bunch of letters from angry helicopter parents who'd be like, "Stop showing this to my kids," you know, like this dog is cute and all, but like all the villains are just like messed up. There's like a fox, there's like a serial killer, and
yeah,
and it's like and they're like, whoa. But like that was very dark, and like the other one
yeah.
that you
And then
said
they'll
before.
ban it all
Uh,
from TV, and then
yeah,
yeah, it'll all get banned from TV, but then the kids will just go straight to YouTube.
straight to
Like half
YouTube.
the
Yeah.
time when
Look
half
at
the time when I
this.
see kids in front of phones, I'm like wondering kind of what's on there. But I don't know.
Dude, I'm not like the day I have kids, I'm not gonna let them touch like an iPhone until they're at least, I don't know, 9. Okay, 9. I'll say 9. Like that's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
they have to live a decade without a smartphone. Like at least, a decade, 10
yeah.
years.
I know. Go
They'll only have a chip
real
in their
wilderness first verse. Yeah,
I'm just gonna put a chip in their necks and they can talk to YouTube in their brain, but like they can't have a smartphone, you know,
yeah,
because that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen, I'm sure, one day, like our grandchildren or
yeah.
something, just gonna have a chip somewhere. But yeah, so I found the naked guy doing cartwheels on Twitter. If anyone follows Eyepatch Wolf, this person put up the clip of the guy doing cartwheels upstairs, going up some stairs, like just cartwheeling backwards while being totally naked. So I highly recommend it. It's the most WTF moment of the week, I think, uh, in Netflix TV shows. It's just like amazing. But yeah, so I think just to end on like Avatar, if anyone listening hasn't seen Avatar, like you really should. And if you have kids, like you should show them this because it's like really character building. It teaches you like just like friendship, being growing up, because like Avatar, Aang in the first season, he is immature as hell. And he's like, he hides letters from his friends, like because he wants them all to himself, and like it's just like, as a kid's show should be, like it teaches you a lesson like every time. But there's some really good storytelling like peppered in there. I guess it's more like great storytelling with, life altering lessons. I'm gonna say that like that. That's my Rotten Tomatoes, review for Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I don't know, Mike, do you have anything to say about Avatar before we let people live their lives?
Um, Millennial parents, introduce your kids. I guess. I don't know. We grew up with a lot of franchises, so I'm kind of curious to see what the big ones are going to be with like the next generation of kids. Like, what's going to get passed down the most? Like, is it going to be Harry Potter? Is it going to be Star Wars? Is it going to be Avatar? Is that going to be the weird niche thing that Gen Z makes bigger than it was when we were kids? And bring back Dante Basco. He's probably too old to be Zuko, but have him as something, because I don't know. Just bring him back. I don't know. Just because.
The Zuko show, just like Zuko, the Fire Lord.
Yes.
There's just like him. Well, because like, I mean,
Star Wars is doing that anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, thing is,
they
like,
a show out of every niche character possible.
Yeah.
So might as well, yeah.
Because we've seen like teenage Zuko in the first Avatar TV show, then there's like elder retired Zuko in Korra, and we need like middle-aged, like 30s, like in his prime Zuko. We got to see that. And I think they're yeah, dude, live action. Let's do it. Let's write a pilot and send it to Netflix.
Sure.
Dude, got nothing else.
Find a job anyway, so come on, think of something.
Okay. Oh man, yeah.
Man.
Dude. Hey, let's. Hey, if people, listeners, if you want us to write a pilot for Zuko, the first nice Fire Lord.
I'm sorry. It sounds like Thomas the Tank Engine. I don't know why. Zuko, the first nice Fire Lord. Oh,
the first fire. The formidable Fire Lord. Hey, like us, follow us, and guys, Michael has to leave. We have to leave, and I was just saying that we have to leave now, and it's been a pleasure as always. Let's stay tuned for next week. Follow us on @WhatWeBinge on Instagram, and hey, let us know if you'd like us to write a pilot for Nickelodeon, and thumbs up. Okay, bye guys.
This is Raph and Mike. Peace.
Bye from Raph.